if you're like a human being, you're not happy, not content, something is missing, something just never feels quite right. We have to find the root cause of this feeling rather than just trying to see like what happened this morning, what happened yesterday that's putting me off. So the root cause of the human being, where things go wrong, right from the start, let's say. So the problem begins with thinking you are a single being, but in fact you are three totally separate beings, all brought together to live a singular life. So not Siamese twins, but Triamese twins. And you're all tied together, but you're three separate beings. I'll say beings because they're not all human people. Okay, not aliens from another planet, not this kind of stuff. So the first being is the human body. That's an animal, be it a lion or a cockroach or a human being. We are all identical. We are ruled by instinct, survival instinct. I need to survive. Why? Nature needs to keep the species going. So I want to avoid pain. I want to seek pleasure. I'm hungry. I want to eat. I want sex. So I reproduce. We are driven by animal instincts. And that's the first thing to accept, is that you are part animal. Nothing better. No wisdom, no thinking, no concern. Study animals, lions, how they work together. You know, the females do the hunting. They bring the catch to the male. He eats. When he's finished, the females eat the leftovers. Now, that's not a chauvinist thing. Why does the man have to do this and the women do all the work? No. It's very simple. The male lion is stronger physically. He is there to protect the family, all of the women and the children. So he needs to conserve his energy in case there is an invader. And so the women, the females, will go and hunt, use their energy to hunt, bring the food, let the male eat. So he's got no energy spent catching the feed. And then he eats until he's had enough. So he's got all his energy to defend against intruders, to protect the females and the babies. So look at that. And then look at other things like fish. Fish will produce thousands of little offsprings, and the male will eat its own babies because it doesn't even know they're its babies. The female lays the eggs, the male puts the sperm, the eggs grow into baby fish, and the male fish goes, oh, I'm hungry, there's a little food. Right? Look at different animals, the way they interact. And then, of course, you have monkeys, gorillas. They have a sort of society as well. But all of it is based on basically animal survival. And the social interaction is to protect each one's survival, not because of any emotional things. I mean, there are some cases they analyze and say, oh, look, the monkeys have emotions and so on. Yeah, there's a certain type of monkey in Africa that, anyway, that's irrelevant. We need to look at ourselves. So the first part is you're an animal, and you must lower or be rather objective and realistic to see that part of you that's an animal and what drives you without feeling guilty. Second part, human personality. Human personality is what you're formed into. When you're born or before you're born, you're given a race, a religion, a culture, a language, a male or female, what you're right, what's wrong, all of this stuff. And then your society says, oh, you shouldn't have sex with too many people, it's wrong. But your body says, hey, I just want sex because I'm driven by nature. So you have a beginning of contradictions, all right? I want to eat this. No, you shouldn't. It's not good for you. Or it's not kosher, or it's not halal. We don't eat those things. How come everybody else is eating it and they're surviving? Very confusing. So there's your second part. You're developed into a formed personality, completely fictitious from your true nature of whoever you were before you were born, or whoever you were at the moment of your birth, your consciousness, personality. And that gets fun. And there you get all your contradictions, because you're right now fighting the animal because you're saying, no, I'm not just an animal. I am a human being. Well, yeah, the part of you that says I am a human being is not an animal, because that's consciousness, ego personality. So it's true. That's not a human being. It's not the human animal. But it resides as a Siamese or Triamese twin to the human animal. So it is directly tied to it, and it cannot deny the needs of the animal. It's like the man who has a horse, and the horse pulls the carriage, and he says, my horse is not behaving. I'm going to cut down on his food till he learns to behave. And the horse, of course, doesn't learn. It's a horse. And the man keeps cutting on the food until the horse starves to death and dies. We cannot deny our body. But of course, you can't be a reckless, crazy animal either. But you have to accept it. There's nothing wrong with the desires you have. And that's where the guilt comes in. And that's where religion is very dangerous. It tells you you're a bad person because you desire this. There is one religion, I couldn't believe it. I was told, if you think, then you've committed the sin. Doesn't matter if you don't act. So as a young man, I was told, if you see a beautiful woman and you think of sex with her, you have committed the sin of adultery because she is maybe married. I didn't even talk to her. I don't even know her. What can I do? My body, 25 years old, sees a beautiful woman. It's going to have the desire. Oh, now I've sinned and I'm going to hell because I desired what God designed me to desire? There's no sense to this. But it creates division, guilt, destroys your self-esteem because you think I am not just an animal. Okay, so first step, your human personality is a totally separate being. It's thought. That is not your body. Your body is ruled as an animal is ruled. There's nothing you can do about it. It is always going to want sex and food and pleasure and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with it. Using or hurting somebody else to get it, well, that's wrong. Now, a very interesting thing, right? Oh, Buddhist monks, and Buddha said, oh, they don't have sex, they don't look at sex. Yeah, but you know what Buddha said? He said, when you go out, first of all, in the monastery, Buddha did not want women because, not he didn't like women or think they're not good enough, but because of the temptation. And he said to the male monks, when you go out of the monastery, where there are women around, always keep your eyes looking down on the ground so you don't see. And why? Because when you see, you get excited. Why do Muslims cover their hair? Women cover their hair? Because when men see a beautiful woman with her lovely hair, they get excited. So even in the great religions, nobody overcomes the human animal desires. They just avoid enticing them. Now, and that shows how dumb an animal we are. We don't have the desire unless we see something that triggers it. Now, of course, you can say, oh, well, I'm sitting home alone and I didn't see anything, but I desire sex. Yeah, of course, because you saw it before and it's already in your memory. And your body desires it and it knows what's out there. Okay? So don't be foolish and ignore the obvious. Okay? So there's the first part. You are a human animal ruled by instincts, desires, nothing you can do to stop that. Don't feel guilty or bad about it. Second, you're a human ego personality, completely fake, false, formed by the environment you grew up in. That has guilt. Conflicts between the body and the personality because it's told what the body wants is bad. Third part. What is it? We have no idea. A soul, a spirit, a spark of divine light, whatever. But there is something more for some people that has desires, thoughts. Now, I think just about everyone, almost everyone, at some point in their life, they want to die. They want to commit suicide, die, just get out of here. Whatever the reason, business trouble, this, that, or just confusion, or seeing the miseries of being human, whatever it is. I think if you're honest, it may not be like depression, I'm so depressed, I want to die. No. It's just, I've had enough. I don't like this conflict. I don't like the limitations of being human. I know that I can be anywhere, that I can understand anything. I know something inside me tells me I know I can be happy, content. So I just want out. So there's another part of us. It's not that I want to die, but I just want to get out. I know that there is a better existence, that I shouldn't be suffering, stuck in this body that gets sick and is painful and limitations and desires it can't fulfill and all of this stuff. And so there's that part of us, which our human ego personality always tries to deny because can't resolve it, can't answer that, and causes tremendous inner conflict at times. Now, if that gets too strong, that's when you get depressed, because I just want to get out of here, and I keep thinking about how miserable this place is and how good it should be, although I don't know where that is or why I think that, but why do I know that there is the possibility for me to live a life free of pains, suffering, illness, limitations, conflicts, guilt? Why? Where does this come from? That I know that it's possible, that it should be that way, that I want that. Okay? So there's the third part. All right. So as long as you live denying that you are three totally separate beings who are tied together at the hip, and you cannot disassociate one from the other, and at times, depending on the time and the situation, one or the other is in the forefront of your thoughts and consciousness, and you no longer deny or discredit the reality of your triple personality, your three beings in one, which is right, like religion is trying to tell you that, isn't it? The Christian religion, the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, what are they? Who knows? People explain it, it's this, it's that. You are the Trinity. A human being is three in one. And resolving that comes through the first step of accepting it, and that comes through understanding the original source of the problem, which is being born human. The Kabbalah says, and I think other traditions say, the best is to have never been born. That's spiritual traditions trying to find God, enlightenment. The best is never to have been born. Okay, why? Because being born splits or joins three in one. So now that we're here, so I'm a human, I'm stuck with this, what can I do? I don't want to kill myself, because that may not be the right choice. And if I kill myself, and that's a mistake, it's too late. But if I try to change, and that's a mistake, I can kill myself later. So it's a good option, right? Choose the path that has options. So I don't want to kill myself, yet at times I desire to just die, to end this. And then of course the human side and the ego side says, no, I don't want to die. I want to live, I want to enjoy, I want to experience. So again, inner conflicts, right? Conflicts tear you apart when you don't understand how one being, one person, can have multiple opposing thoughts and desires. How can we resolve these conflicts? So, if you contemplate and observe yourself, observe other people. Don't get angry When you're on Tinder, if you're a girl and you say all men want is sex, observe your own desires. You want sex too. Observe what drives a person. Sex and love and companionship, the need of companionship. That's what the ego personality wants. And then the inner conflict, which is, I just want to get out. I want to be peaceful, which is that third part, whatever you want to call it, right? There's no point giving a name to something that we cannot identify. That just puts it in a box. So it's the whatever it is. And observe each part of your being as the one having the desire based on what the desire is. And allow for yourself to see yourself as three totally separate individual beings. Being, I say being, because it's not like a cat and a dog, two separate animals of the same species of the same creature, or whatever it is, right? Like a lion and a cat or something. They're totally different. This is something that's thought. And thought can't be material as like a body. So observe you and other people. See what drives them. Understand through observing yourself, your desires, and what's driving you. And then accepting that you're not a singular being. So there's the original problem, okay? Being born splits you into three or combines three totally separate beings. And from that moment on, you're in a mess because you're told you're one and yet you have these inner conflicts. So if we can fix the original source of our messed up life and emotions, our unhappiness, our disgruntledness, discomfort, by accepting through observation to prove it, not just blind faith. Blind faith means you're blind. You walk into walls, you walk off a cliff, you walk in the middle of the road in traffic. Okay, we don't want blind faith. We want to observe enough to prove the fact to yourself. And that takes time and an open mind by establishing what am I looking for. I am looking for contradictions that cannot be resolved if I am a single being. Simple. And that there are beings different than just humans, and I may be one of them. Part of me is one of them. You want to believe you came from another planet and plunked in this body? Okay, whatever makes you happy. But it's separate, right? Your thoughts are simply not your human body. So where are they from? What are they? What is your personality? Right? Science says we don't know where the mind is. We know the brain, how that works. And the mind seems to be in the brain because that does the thinking. But they haven't said, oh, this, left hemisphere, right hemisphere, frontal lobe, this perineal, perineum. And no. They don't know where the mind is because it's not there. I mean, maybe it is in your head, but it's not an organ. Okay? So think, please, think. Observe objectively with the open mind that you might actually be three totally separate beings. Identify each one, and you will have begun the process of reaching peace and contentment and overcoming the fear of death, because you'll realize, well, two parts of me are not human. Therefore, they don't have a body. Therefore, they don't die. So what am I scared of? Because that's the part that does the thinking, not the body. And beginning with that, you are starting on a path of objectivity where no one can hurt you, no one can insult you, no one can bother you. You can have all your desires. You want to kill someone. You want to hit someone. Come on, everybody, unless they are so emotionally screwed up, contained. Everybody has times where they want to hit, they want to kill. That's why kids hit. because the emotions, the angers of the body take over and we just need a hit. Scream. Nothing wrong with that. Actually doing it may be wrong, but the desire, there's nothing wrong. So do this, and then you'll start on your path of freedom, because you will have overcome internal conflict and the destruction of your self-esteem, thinking that you are bad because you want to have sex with every hot-looking boy, girl, whatever it is you want. It doesn't matter. So there's nothing wrong with wanting. That's healthy. The most intelligent, creative artists, inventors, leaders have a very high sex drive. That's scientific fact. You can research. And they generally have affairs because their sex drive is so high. Okay, that may not be nice to their partner, but what to do? This is because, because they accept their human drive. So if you reject your human drive for sex, touch, companionship, pleasure, you are rejecting your ability to be intelligent, to be creative, to be healthy. And that's what society, religions have put you into. Guilt, bad, you're a bad person, you're born a sinner, whatever your religion wants to teach you. And so guilt destroys, right? How many times people say, I'm so depressed, I am just ridden with guilt. What for? I don't know, but I feel very guilty because I know I'm bad. Maybe you know what you did, but nonetheless, guilt destroys, and this is where guilt comes from. Okay? Anyway, enough of this. Get to work if you want freedom, if you want success, if you want happiness, good relationship, good, money, job, career. Why? Who gets the most? People that they like to work with you will give you the opportunities, right? If you're some negative, depressed ass, who wants to work with you? But if you're positive, creative, happy, energetic, passionate, everybody wants to work with you. Therefore, more work, more job, more business, more money if you're wise enough to handle it well. And better relationship, everything. Okay? So there's your beginning. Start there, then ask me if you want to go further, because it's a long path beyond that. But that is already 80%, 90% of the path, is getting to that. And depending on the depth of how well you get to that, it could be 98% of the path to happiness. Good luck.